Alright, what's going on everyone? Captain here back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video. Today I'm continuing my little mini-series that I started a couple days ago where I'm going to break down each class by class, talking about who in that class is worthy of a class-based Awakening Gem. With Cyber Weekend deals right around the corner, I speculated in that first video that there's a possibility we might see a class-based along with a generic. And so that's where I got the idea, like, oh, if we do get a class-based, who would I consider ranking up or using that Awakening Gem on for each class? And that's where I decided to come up with this series. And again, so I'll get this out there. This is my personal opinion based on my experience in the game, based off prestige as well. So this will be obviously being 6 stars, more geared toward end game accounts. If this was open up to 5 and 6 stars, there's a lot of different arguments for more characters who are worthy of Awakening Gems. But with 6-star Awakening Gems being such a rare item in the game, this, there's there's less champions who are worthy for sure of using those gems on. So today we're going on to the skill class. If you want to see my science one, you can go back and check that video out. So I'll put the link in the card there at the top. So you can go ahead and check that out. But today we're talking about the skill class. This one, it's an interesting one. I struggled with some of the rankings on here. Again, my own personal rankings. I didn't get anyone else's opinion. And I feel like there's a few really obvious ones and then some that aren't so obvious. And some that just, like, a lot of the skill characters don't actually need their awakened abilities in order to be their best, essentially. So let's go ahead, start it off. We'll talk about the honorable mentions on this one. First, I think everyone knows who number 1 is going to be, so there's no point in dragging that out, throwing the honorable mentions before I reveal the number 1 spot. So honorable mentions, I've got Killmonger, Hitmonkey, Gwenpool, Falcon, and then Night Thrasher. Night Thrasher was a very close 6th. I almost swapped him in, actually, instead of who I have at number 5. Night Thrasher gets a lot more damage when he is awakened. He gained access to his Furies, and those Furies are permanent Furies that he can stack up, which is a really neat thing. Also, his gadgets, they place the taunt, so your opponents are throwing their specials more, so it just makes the game flow a little bit easier. And then even the last note there, he has a chance to purify debuffs if he's ever knocked down. So he's got a little bit of a purify, which is a common theme throughout the skill class itself. Lots of skill characters have a purify feature. So Night Thrasher, one of those who gains that once he's awakened. But again, it's more so about those Furies and the taunts that once he's awakened make him a lot more fun character to use. He's also got that natural True Strike with all the attacks that are skateboards. It's pretty sweet. So then the other ones I mentioned, Falcon, he just kind of gets a longer timer on his Red Wing and gets some more critical rating, so it's not a super important one, but he's just such a good character in general that, if you want to get those platinum stars, I can't blame you for that. And then Gwenpool, her awakened ability allows it so that she can't die from a special attack, like the main special attack damage. She'll still die if there's if a special attack places a bleed or something, or there's direct damage that's dealt in any way, energy damage, that kind of stuff will still kill her, but the actual special attack damage itself will not. She also reduces her opponent's defensive ability accuracy based on her current combo. This has always been kind of one of those things that I feel like there should be a number, because it doesn't say like how much it does, or like at what combo are you fully just getting rid of their ability accuracy. I think it's kind of been speculated. I think it's 50 is at the point where it does it, because it's like 2% for every combo, so 50 hits would be 100%. I think that's what kind of everyone's agreed upon, or I don't know if that was ever confirmed. It might have been. I don't know. But then the other one's Hitmonkey. Again, just another amazing character, unawakened already. Getting him awakened just gives him just a little bit more topped off there. But not super necessary. He does get you a little bit more prestige. He's one of the top ones in prestige. And then Killmonger, it's just with his vibranium, his reverberation that comes into effect, then he starts reflecting the damage that's dealt. So he is definitely one that's good, much better awakened on defense. So if that's what you're looking for, then you can use it on him. But that's enough of the honorable mentions. Let's move into the actual top 5 on the list. So coming in at number 5 is a 6-star that I do not have, but he is one that was buffed not too long ago. And since his buff, he is a much better version of his character, and that is Crossbones. Now, Crossbones, with his Awakened ability, he then makes it so that he has a chance to purify any debuff that is placed on him. And the higher the SIG, the better with this, because 90% at SIG 200 is definitely what you're going to want. And the chance is temporarily decreased for consecutive triggers. So if it's the same debuff, I guess is a slight delay. But yeah, it's mainly you just have a higher chance of shrugging those off and turning those into more furies for him to deal more damage. And the reason I put him down at 5 though is because, like I said, you do want him at a higher SIG level, so it's a much more bigger investment. With these lists, I'm trying to put the priority on characters that, using an Awakening Gem, you don't need to put the 6 stones in, because while 6-star Awakening Gems are super rare, so are 6-star signature stones. So that is a factor to take into account as well. So that's why Crossbones needs a higher SIG. He's going to be lower on the list, but still a solid option. And like I said, kind of was right there with Night Thrasher. Like I almost swapped them. In my opinion, I think they're both really close to that 5 spot. So moving on to number 4 on the list. Now this one is interesting. I know a lot of people were probably expecting this guy to possibly be higher, but those in the end game, you understand why this guy is going to be where I have him, and that is Aegon. I'm putting Aegon at number 4. Couple of reasons, because one, he's another character that ideally you want him at a higher SIG. Now it's not super important, it's just going to make your ramp up a lot faster the higher SIG. I think Labyrinth with mine only at like SIG 120, and I didn't really notice that much. But the reason I'm also putting him lower down on the list is because a lot of people at this point, you already have the 5-star version Awakened, probably SIG 200 at rank 5. So is it worth it then to go and use an Awakening Gem on the 6-star when you already have the 5-star that's maxed out? I personally don't think it's worth it, and I won't be taking mine up anytime soon. I would maybe especially because I've already done Labyrinth, I've already done Abyss, I've already done all of that. If you've done all that content, then he's not even on this list. There's no reason to put an Awakening Gem into 6-star Aegon. It's only in that case that if you don't happen to have the 5-star and you have a 6-star, which I'm sure is probably not that many people out there. If you don't have the 5-star, then yes, he's absolutely worth it. If you need to do Labyrinth, if you need to do Abyss of Legends, all those big endgame Goliath style content that's just beastly stuff that Aegon makes look like Act 2. Maybe not quite Act 2. You get the point. So that's why he's putting them at the 4. Still worthy of an Awakening Gem if you fall into that category. Me personally, I won't be taking him up. Probably won't be taking him. I'll wait till I awaken him naturally, and then potentially I'll take him up to rank 3. But I probably won't be investing 6 stones into him just yet. I'm still putting those into someone else. So that's Aegon coming in at number 4. So moving on to number 3, and that's going to be Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, and who I have at number 2. I kind of went back and forth again as well with this one. It could go both ways, I feel like. But Shang-Chi, another case of he is amazing without the Awaken ability, but I think, like personally, I don't have mine Awaken. Obviously, I would love to get him Awaken, and if I were to get a 6-star Awakening Gem skill class from these offers next week, there's a good chance that I might use mine on Shang-Chi, unless I pull another character that I think is more worthy, which we'll get to that in just a second. Everyone knows who I'm talking about, but don't want to get too ahead of myself. But Shang-Chi, once he is awakened, on all of his critical hits, he's going to be dealing a extra burst damage, physical damage, and it ignores block, proficiency, armor, and resistance. So that is super awesome. And he can also place critical hits through the block, which is good for nodes like Invade, any other kind of things where maybe you're just trying to create some space and you're hitting into their block. You're just going to be getting extra damage that way. So that is super awesome with Shang-Chi. Also, if you need some prestige, he is up there. I think he's number 3 in prestige, behind Thor Ragnarok and Spider-Man, Stealth Suit Spider-Man. So he's number 3. So he's still got that pretty solid prestige if that's something you need. I don't think also he necessarily needs all the signature stones as well. So that is another perk to him. It's just you'll just be dealing more damage the higher sigs you can put into him. But getting him awakened, you're just going to give you access to that physical damage in the first place, and that is pretty cool. And as well as the critical hits into the block. So that is Shang-Chi at number 3. Now coming in at number 2 is a character that has been a hot debate on whether this character needs to be awakened, whether or not he doesn't need to be awakened. And I think for this one, I'm gonna break my rule where I did say I'm not gonna ask anyone else's opinion for this. I'm gonna reach out to someone and see if they have a say. Hey, Karate Mike, how you doing, man? So quick question. I'm doing this whole awakening characters for 6 stars thing. Who's best to use an awakening gem on? And I'm doing the skill class right now. And I just had a quick question. I don't know. I figured you might be the guy to ask for this, but Thor Ragnarok, I'm putting him at number 2 as the second best to use an awakening gem on. You know, I know he's got good prestige, kind of why I'm putting him up this high. But I wanted your opinion on Mike. You there? I think he hung up. Well, I tried. I guess we're not going to get his opinion. It's just going to be my opinion today. But in my opinion, yes, I think Thor Ragnarok, if not just alone for the prestige, he is number 4 overall in the game in prestige. And those in the end game, everybody knows you got to have that prestige if you want to keep competing. But I think his awakened ability definitely adds a higher attack. I mean, you get more attack, and the shock debuffs place the ability accuracy here as well. So I think those are both huge bonuses, and then I think it makes him worthy of using this awakening gem on him for sure. So that is Thor Ragnarok at number 2. Shout out to Karate Mike. Thanks for being a good sport. And now coming in at the number 1 spot, I think this one will come as no surprise to anybody out there who's played this game in the last 4 years, I want to say, and that is none other than Korg. Korg, the beat. Oh no, just kidding. Did I get you? Did I get you guys? No, it's of course Nicholas J. Fury. I mean, what is there to say about Nick Fury? If you don't know, his awaken ability allows him to unlock what's called the life model decoy, and the best part about it is you only need him at Sig 1. So use the awakening gem, and you don't need to put any Sig stones into him. And you're set. You have the full benefit of Nick Fury, everything that he can do, and what you get out of that is he will, instead of dying, when he loses all of his health, that kills off the life model decoy, and his health starts to regen, and then slowly trickles down to 30% health. And what that is doing is, at the start, when he loses it all, he shrugs off any debuff that was on him currently. He gains a permanent fury in with his base set abilities. Based on how many charges he has, he gets these additional abilities. And when he has a fury active, these charges don't count down. So with the fury you get from having the real Nick Fury out there and not the life model decoys, you have the fury, so you're going to be able to lock in how many of those charges you're set at. He also becomes stun immune in this phase, which is amazing. And the only benefit from having him with more SIGs is that when the life model decoy dies off and once his health starts draining, it drains a little bit slower the higher SIG you are. But you can see it's a difference of 5% to at max SIG of 2.23%. So it's just a little bit of health, and it's not really going to matter because the next fight you start, you're automatically going to start losing the health anyways. So you might as well just get down to the 30% health right off the bat and call it a day. So that is my list, guys. Nick Fury at number 1. We've got Thor Ragnarok at number 2, Shang-Chi number 3, Aegon number 4, and Crossbones at number 5. I'm sure there are some of you out there who are saying, oh, I can't believe you didn't mention this character or that character. I didn't bring up Black Widow, Deadly Origin. I don't have her as a 5 or 6 star. I've never played the character. I don't know if she needs the Awaken ability. So that's why I didn't mention her. Black Panther, Civil War, no thank you. Mole Man, I don't think his awakened ability is super important, but again, I could be wrong. Let me know down in the comments if you think so. Taskmaster, another one who I probably should have put him in honorable mention, actually. His awakened ability is kind of important. But yeah, that's gonna do it, guys, for this opening, or this opening. So used to doing these videos and it being like a crystal opening, but this isn't a crystal opening. I'm doing a ranking. Come on. That's gonna do it for this awakening gem ranking, guys. We'll be back soon with the next class up, and that is going to be the very stacked mutant class. So yeah, that one's gonna be a fun one. Lots of controversy in that one, I'm sure. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.